And we are back. Good evening. My name is True. I'm here with
What's
Domo
up?
Monster. I got Fattel here.
What up? What up, True? What's going on, man? Who we got with us today, True?
We got some alpha male in the building.
Who's our guest, Domo Monster? This
We got Rollo Tomassi
Rollo.
from Rational Male.
Yeah, there's a bomb.
The author, podcaster,
Everything.
everything.
Cut that.
Been around the block.
Yes.
So what's up, Rollo?
Wait, what's up with you guys, man?
Nothing,
We're
man.
chilling.
Thank
Just
you very
promoting a
much
show.
for coming to our studio.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me. You've been trying to get me on here for a while.
I have.
I had to throw that out. Or are you scared that was me?
I know.
Yeah,
You're all scared. Scared.
You don't know who you're talking to on that Green Room Radio page. We've been talking about this. We get
Hey.
we get dick pics coming through, all type of
Yeah.
stuff. They think it's Domo, but it's True getting the messages.
Yeah, I'm like, make sure you say who you're talking to because we're all on that page.
No.
He hasn't done that, but
Okay.
Michael might have done it.
Michael, sorry, I'll just Mike is my co-host on Access Vegas, so I spend a lot of time in Vegas. I actually live in Reno, but I spend a lot
Shout
of time.
out Reno, man.
How far of a drive is that? The back?
I don't drive. Well, I mean,
Oh,
I
you
fly
fly.
down. It's like about 40-minute flight. That's
Oh,
all.
that's- yeah,
it's pretty
like,
quick.
so it's
I
like
wish
LA.
JSX, if you're ever watching this, please
Yeah,
reinstate
sponsor.
the flight from Reno to Vegas.
They took it away.
I have no idea why. Like I can fly from Reno to Burbank and then to Vegas. I'm like, why is Burbank a
Wow.
thing? But like I
Because
can't.
we
get
there. Shout out
the-
to Burbank, man. We over there in
Yeah,
Burbank, man.
Burbank.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, I was on. I took JSX to No Jumper about 2 weeks ago, and I'm like, oh, thank God, they go straight to Burbank.
Right
Yeah.
there. 5 minutes.
Where is No Jumper at?
In Burbank.
It's in
It's
Burbank.
Oh, it's in
Dude,
Burbank.
it's 2 minutes from my office, bro.
Everybody's
It's
in
walking distance to my
Burbank.
building,
You
man.
can
It's
walk
walking.
from the airport to their
Yes,
studio.
Wow.
my same with me.
Shout out to Adam 22 because I hate him.
Well, we're going to talk
Oh,
about
boy.
Adam 22.
Wait a minute, True. True, what'd you just say?
I said I hate Adam 22.
Damn, bro.
Yeah,
Not the most pleasant person,
not a
but
fan.
he's the most talked about person right now because tomorrow their big scene drops.
Tomorrow
What do
is
you
the
can
day.
you
It's
tell
like
the
Christmas morning
for the world the world that's
No.
sleeping under a rock? Domo, what's this big bomb
His
dropping?
wifey, Lena the Plug, is about to be plugged with a BBC tomorrow.
The BBC network?
Premiering on their OnlyFans, Plug Talk. And everybody, they feel a type of way. They don't like it. They kind of like it. They want to see it. And we want to judge, we want to compare it to Adam's performance, to her,
Adam does
but
have performances online that people can see.
They've been shooting.
For real?
So they do a
Together.
podcast, Plug Talk. I actually watched it. So the first one was with Selena Powell. And I subscribed to it because I was like, oh, cool. And actually, the male performer, I know who he is. Shout out to Rod Piper. Yeah,
You
piping
hear that,
it down.
Rollo?
Rod Piper
That reminds me of the wrestler, Roddy Rod Piper.
Rod Piper, amazing,
Piper Rod.
amazing,
and his brother
guy.
Dick Steele.
Wait, and
AD do.
But
his other
Jack Steffen.
his other brother Miles Long.
it's
Oh, Miles
so,
Long.
What would your porn name be?
it's a very interesting podcast because they do a podcast and then they fuck the girl.
Girls that are on there.
So the bed's like somewhere in the podcast room.
No, they do it on the couch. They got a couch.
Oh, my.
Let's get a black light up in
You know
there.
what's funny is like all the
Casting couch.
all the people who've never heard of Adam 22 before, like all these people like outside of all this kind of this whole sphere, like they're just hearing about this, but they don't realize that they've been doing this podcast for forever. It's like you guys should have been watching that before you even were outraged about this.
And you know what?
Like there's a lot more than just
There's
that.
so many, there's new people talking about it, and they have everything wrong. They're like, oh, yeah, she's a porn star, and they had a kid, and it's like, and then they started shooting porn. It's like, no, they were doing porn
Age is
while the kid was on the way, after the kid was on the way. So they've been in the game, and it's
She was
like,
doing pregnant porn.
She did pregnant content, yes.
What?
Yes. You don't want to know what? When there's a fetish for everything.
Hey, me and Rollo look at each other like,
I
yeah,
have
that's
learned-
cold. That's cold as
I
ice,
have
man.
learned more about this industry in the last week and a half than I've ever.
Our whole life has been a lie.
I did really good when I did pregnant content. So
Hey, hang on.
yeah.
When you say content, because when you said content with Lena, you're meaning people were still
by
banging her.
myself,
I don't
by
think.
herself. I mean, I think she was banging Adam, and they
Oh.
were making content with it. But
So I was
for
gonna
the
say, I
most
saw your
part,
pregnant pictures,
you're
but
doing
if-
solos. You're doing
True, so hold on.
actually.
Yeah, I'm
there's
like, if
a
you were
lot
banging,
of
I feel bad for your
actually.
kid
There's
right
a
now.
lot of requests. I got requests like the oil rubbing on the belly. That's a big one. So it's like some of it is not really sexual.
You're glowing.
I'm gonna put some money in your account.
That actually
Trying
feel
on, they want you to try on your old clothes to see how you don't fit into them. It's like really funny stuff, but yeah, there was like, and then when I would get the request for the lactation stuff, I was just
Oh
like,
man.
no, I'm like, that's personal. That's not for you.
Well,
So,
so what, the
but
lactation, do they drink the milk or they just want you
they
to...
just want you to like squirt it out and
Oh, my
videotape
God.
it, and I'm like, no, that's for the baby.
Hey,
And I'm like, I don't even know how to use my manual book on that. So no, I don't want to do it with you.
Does that have, do you have that in your book? Any of your
No,
books,
that is.
Rollo?
You know what? I missed that part of it. I'm sorry.
But,
where we been at, Rollo?
Revise that.
We've been missing everything, man.
but I mean, it's just
Breast pumps.
It's so crazy
Chapter
because
7.
this whole like dynamic is coming to like mainstream, and this is very underground. I shot a cuckold scene when
Cuckold.
Yes, I did a cuckold.
What does that
scene.
mean?
I don't know what
'Cause
that
I
is.
keep, I keep hearing them say that with Adam 22.
I'll be honest. I don't know what that is. I'm gonna be honest.
Let me educate you.
Teacher, what is that?
Cuckold is usually if it's like a couple and maybe they're married or boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, and the man gets turned on and wants his woman to fuck a guy, a well-endowed guy. Doesn't have to necessarily be a BBC, but well-endowed. And he's there, he's watching, he's either filming, or he could be like in the other room, and it's between him and the wife, and they get off on this thing. So I shot a few.
Do you do that,
I've
Rollo?
done
No.
a couple BB. I've
No.
done a
Well,
couple
no, there it
cuckold
goes.
scenes.
For you guys that need to get educated,
And,
here we go.
When I filmed it, I didn't know what the fuck I was filming, and so even like the porn fans, they went crazy.
I just show the belly fat in the top. What is that? Is that cuckold? The belly fat?
No, but I
Hold.
mean,
Abs? No abs.
Hey Hugh, we were talking earlier about that the Eiffel Tower. Can you put
Oh,
that
no,
bring
don't-
that picture
we're
back
go-
up?
we're
Just
go-
that's just for
going back?
Rollo's friend, so he can.
You going back to the
Well,
Eiffel Tower, True?
I was-
Now we
yeah.
got out of Perry.
You know, Mike Sartain was the one who told me about that. I'm like,
that's
there's
right,
a name
that's
for that
right.
shit?
Yeah, I didn't
a
know
name
either.
for everything.
But
apparently,
Rollo, I mean, what is your take on this?
You
You
know, it's-
have a book, like, but you
Let's
teach
steer this back
men.
this
Like,
way, yeah.
what is your opinion on this?
Okay, so when this is so fucking.
Are you
Welcome to the
are you-
show, by the way.
So
So
are
the
you
only-
married, Rollo?
I am married.
Okay.
Yes. I'll
So
do-
you can relate because you're
Yeah,
married.
yeah,
so
I
this
can.
is, yes.
So here's the funny thing is like, so she's one porn star I know. I think I know. Oh, I know Sarah Jesse, and then know Sterling Cooper. And Sterling Cooper's a good friend of mine. And I can remember
I've
one
seen
time.
him on
I
your
can
show.
remember one time. I think it was I was staying in Miami, and really nice place. Like it's what is it, the Centric, the Miami Centric there. And so I'm showing him, hey, I got a really nice room. He goes, oh, that's the cuck chair over there. And it's like, because they shoot these shots
right.
mostly in hotel rooms, right? And there's always like this one chair that you're just sitting right. That's where the cuck sits, right? So I'm like,
Oh my
what the fuck is
God,
a cuck chair?
there is that chair. in
You had to
Los
learn
Angeles.
today.
Right,
You learned real
there's-
quick.
There's always a
Yeah,
chair.
it's like there's a cuck chair.
I'll
right
never
there.
forget that.
I'm like, God damn it! Now I'm never gonna sit in that fucking thing. No, so yeah, I'm aware of this shit. I'm aware of the what's going on with Adam. I think that I think that this is really great marketing for him.
Yeah.
I think that this is when it first came out. I was out at I was in No Jumper about two weeks ago. And I happened to be there also. I don't know how this worked out, but I happened to be there when Destiny was there. I was there when, and MLD, my Life Dating John was there, and Sneeko was there. I'm like, this seems very odd that all four of us sort of like semi-manosphere guys are in the same place at the
So,
same time.
Give him a little context of who Destiny is.
I
I
don't
don't
know
fully
who
know
that is.
Okay,
about
so I'll have to,
Sneeko,
let me-
but I've seen
I'll give you the
interview.
quick rundown. Sneeko is kind of like, what is he, like 23, 24, something like that. He used to be a Twitch streamer. It's kind of like one of these gamer guys that was, he's sort of come up in riding the coattails of like Andrew Tate. And, he's been doing a lot of content with like Myron Fresh from Fresh and Fit. And then Destiny's kind of like his blue-haired kind of. He's a well-known cuckold, let's just say, or in an open relationship, but
Proud
basically allows his wife to get dug out, right? That kind of stuff.
Whoa.
He's cuckolding with his chest.
But he's like he's bisexual. He fucks other girls. They basically will have this open relationship. So
Yeah.
and I'm not going to say that I could never either. Right.
Nope.
And so he's
either?
there, and then John from Modern Life Dating is there. He's sort of infamous, sort of POA guy. That he lives in Japan, but like he makes trips out here, and so he's a friend of mine. I've known the guy for a while. So they all happen to be there at the same time, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And it happened on that Monday. That's when the first video dropped with Adam 22 talking to Destiny with the blue-haired guy,
Announcing it.
So it's
yeah.
the first. It was the first thing that he had done, where he was saying like, I feel kind of like insecure in my masculinity for allowing this was it Jason Love? Is that what his name is?
Jason Love.
Yeah,
Jason
yeah.
Love.
That
Jason
now
Love.
we're on a first name basis now. Okay,
Yeah,
so
that blew him
Brand
up.
ambassador for black.
That was a big move.
that
for
was
him.
the guy, right?
Blacks.com.
So that was the guy, and so he's like talking about how he was feeling very insecure about this. And I'm like, well, yeah, because you're a dude and like you're mate guarding your woman. Of course you're gonna. That's like an innate sort of evolutionary, a system. A jealousy is part of like our nature, right? So of course you're gonna feel that way. But now he's trying to sort of like walk himself past the fact that he feels jealous, because that was the first time she was allowed to go and have sex
Right,
with another guy
right.
on camera
So-
that wasn't him.
Yeah, they have a lot of threesomes with women, but never with other men.
Do you think this whole thing was like a Hail Mary because of all the the turmoil?
All
and
the
the-
hoes.
The no jumper switching up a lot.
Well,
right
here's
now.
what I
Like
say.
they needed it?
It's time to release. So that was that Monday. Then like Tuesday is when Jason Love did his saying, "Oh well, Adam shot the whole thing." Wow, there's another revelation. And then a day later,
he shot
what-
the. Oh
And-
my
and you
god!
know
Wait a
what's
minute,
funny?
man. I didn't hear that.
Yeah.
You know what was funny? He
Shout out,
said
sorry.
at first that Lena contacted
imagine?
him, but then when Jason put his video out, there's DMs of Adam contacting him.
right? So
asking
so
him to
it's
bang his
so
wife.
it was Adam's like idea
Set
to
it
do
up.
this. He's the one who did the shoot, according to Jason. Anyways, this is from his video, from what I've seen.
Yeah.
And then after that, like a day after that or 2 days after that, then he does an interview of Lena talking about like, well, what like he wanted to get like this after action report kind of thing. It's
and
like she's
with
like,
Jason
well,
too, right?
Well, she's
How
talking
was
about
it?
like how her pussy's like now she's finally contracting back because she was sore afterwards. And it's all like, so
was
1,
down
2,
for 3
3, and then the
days.
next one was where he was talking about the next movie or the next video that they're going to do. It's
We
going
got
to
a
be
guy,
him,
and a
and
guy.
he's going to run a train on her or something like that. I'm like, okay, this is a bit. This whole thing is a plan.
You don't do this with the mother of your children.
No, yeah, you don't. But here's the thing: is like the whole thing is it's progressive. The thing that fascinated me about this, and really kind of the industry in general, is like how people promote it on social media right now. So because I have to be, for better or worse, I guess I'm an influencer now too. But like if you're in the influencer economy, attention it's an attention economy. So now we have gone from we've taken like pornography, which is sort of like been sort of this thing where you just keep it on the sly and you're just it's a private thing. Now it's out in the open to the point where we can build up the anticipation for a movie premiere, just like a Hollywood movie premiere, although it's your wife getting dug out by this guy, right?
Yeah.
And so
I like that dugout. I like that.
So-
Forget what they put-
Dugout.
so
Dugout.
so here, so it's two weeks,
another word.
2 weeks in the making, right? So now you've got Adam Sosnick on Valuetainment talking about it. You got Pearl talking about it. You got people from like I guarantee you, if they haven't already, like Candace Owens and all the
Lovely
people at Daily Wire who have no business talking about this shit in the first
Now they're
place.
about to.
Right.
Everybody wants to jump on. Andrew Tate talking about like how he would never let his wife. He's talking about on
Tucker Carlson.
Oh
like
my
bonus.
How much promo? That's a 2 for
That's
1. We call that a 2 for
serious.
1.
You cannot pay.
Yeah.
and
That's a
remember-
BOGO.
And remember that we're talking about like, was it 56 million people watched that interview?
course.
So
And
you
got
said,
a
Rollo,
plug for that?
you wouldn't do that?
I wouldn't.
With her?
No.
And you said
Not
you
my-
wouldn't?
True, would you?
Some I agree.
No, listen. So I have been in a situation, and so
bad
how they
camp?
now how they say about the communication. So they said Adam and her is in communication. I was in a
I
similar.
certainly hope so.
Well, I mean, I was in a similar situation, but not
You
married.
can't sneak around that one.
Not married, but if you date a porn star, sometimes they do
Well,
that.
I mean,
And-
he was
Well-
he was a porn star too, right? Adam was.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
Kind of.
Is that safe to say, Domo? Is that disrespectful towards your?
It's disrespectful
Okay.
because
Adam
in
20.
his sense, okay, so he's doing about every fucking porn girl, every OnlyFans girl. But yo, boy, like you ain't a porn star.
Yeah, so this is what I'd ask you, Rollo.
Like Domo's a porn star.
I don't.
I
did not.
I've hooked up
show
with 2
up
porn
to-
stars, so am I a porn star? Absolutely not.
Did you do content with them?
No.
Okay,
No,
well, then you're not a porn star.
No, well, yeah. So
Did
I
you
guess,
make money
so
off
you're
of
saying
doing-
because,
Did you monetize
So
visuals?
because Adam 22 did it on camera, that makes him a porn star?
Adam 22 is basically gentrifying our industry, and him and Lena, and I have respect for Lena, but yes, they've shot their own scenes, but it's like they were not porn stars of any sense that they were in the industry. They've gone to Avian. They just went to Avian they went to Avian last year too, and Lena she would be at a booth, and she's getting paid by a brand, but he had his No Jumper platform. He basically helped elevate her
Plug top,
her whole career because she didn't go through the steps that normal porn stars would go through. She's not signed to an agency. She's not doing the first preliminary, scenes with not your boyfriend. We can't even talk about our boyfriend type of thing. So they have a unique career in this
Did they say they do
industry.
testing? Like, did this Jason Love and her do the
I'm
testing
sure
thing?
they're
Like-
doing the protocols. I would hope they're doing the
Well,
Well,
protocols.
the protocols of the internet are coming in. You see these memes going on. There's a lot of memes right now. Like the Grimace from McDonald's is behind her, hitting it from the back. They replaced Jason Love and put the Grimace back there. It's his birthday,
my
so he
God.
was.
Well,
Grimace gotta
that's
get some
why,
love, too.
Like, I don't know.
Shout out to
Like,
Grimace.
even though
He's back.
they're playing this narrative, I would think
I would say.
Lena, you as a mother, like you're gonna have all the, and I get it. We get bad press for anything that we do, but it's like. Now the joke is, she's just for the streets, and
She is for the streets.
now anybody's like, oh, I'll get her next, and she's
Yeah,
playing
oh, for
along
sure.
with it, and I'm just like,
Well, that's the whole part of the buildup, though.
Yeah.
It's all bullshit. It's all.
It's destructive.
Do you know what
Self-destructive.
Do you know what kayfabe is? Kayfabe. Okay, in professional wrestling, there's a concept, it's a dynamic. It's called kayfabe. I don't know where they come up with the name, right? But it's like if Macho Man Randy Savage has a problem with the Undertaker or an Iron Sheik or some shit like that, they start throwing shit back and forth. They're in character and they're playing this character, and the other guy's playing this character. You got a problem with me? I got a problem with you, brother. Like that whole thing. And
all an
they know
act.
they don't. It's all an act, but they don't go and get in together and go, okay, so here's what we're gonna do with this.
Right.
Yeah, I'm gonna hate you and you're gonna hate me. It doesn't matter. Like they know that it's bullshit, and they're always in character. And like the ultimate sin is to sort of like break character, right? And that's really what I see happening, like certainly in the manosphere, my thing, but also the people who get wrapped up in this whole like build up for a porn movie, right? I will tell you, I'm waiting for the views and the numbers and everything else once this drops, which will be tomorrow, by the way. That's
Is
when
there a
it's
time?
dropping.
Is it like midnight tonight?
That's
noon
what-
tomorrow?
I don't know.
Can we put like a
haven't-
clock like go
I
like
have no
to a
idea.
premiere? Like
However, I do know this. I'm going to shout something out to DJ Academics, who is supposed to have a watch
He's
party
doing a
for
watch
this.
is that what he's doing?
Yes,
He's really
yes,
doing that?
yeah.
Oh wow.
I think I'm gonna have to.
It's the biggest thing since the Kim K and Ray J
So,
video.
of course, but everybody wants to talk about this, and that's the whole fucking point, is to build buzz on it, so that I don't know what it's going to do, like money wise and view wise, but it's going to do far more than if they had done nothing.
Think about this though. Think about this though. It worked out for Kim K.
Yeah, but
Well,
hey,
there's-
hey, I mean, this. I know it's not like this in this case. It's not like this, but imagine if they didn't really do it. Imagine
Yeah.
if it was a scripted and he
Or,
did.
or it's a Bella Thorne thing where they just
Bella
sign
Thorne,
it.
yeah.
Like, oh, I got you, motherfucker.
Bella Thorne.
Yeah, we didn't really have sex.
that's
Ah!
not-
Bella
Yeah.
Thorne.
Oh man, and
Yeah.
wouldn't it be great if that was, because we don't know yet, because tomorrow's a day.
Right.
But like if tomorrow it's like
Oh,
it's
yeah,
like
we
it's
do have to
nothing.
see
They
it with
just
our own eyes,
they
so
just
they
show
wouldn't.
you like some cartoon or
And
some
they-
shit like
yeah,
that.
they
It's
could-
all marketing.
they
It's
could
all
do
marketing,
The
yeah.
Belle
that-
Delphine.
Bro, that's why they
She
like
was
when they
the
remember.
e-girl who
remember-
sold
yeah.
her bathwater.
Now I'm sure that they actually did have sex, but like,
I think they did.
But
yeah.
even if, but if they didn't,
she got dug out.
but if they did, but see, the thing is, like here we are talking about
It works.
I know.
right?
Marketing works.
I'm looking at all these programs
It's marketing, bro.
have got no business talking about the porn industry,
branding.
right? They're like Pearl was talking to saying
Yeah.
something like, "I wouldn't. That's your wife." Well, like it's this manufactured outrage that everybody gets to react to. So here's some shit that you guys can react to, and it's Adam who's the fucking genius in all.
It's no different than when Twinkie said, "Oh, we're not making no more Twinkies. We're done." Oh, everyone went into craziness. I'm gonna go buy every Twinkie I can buy. Damn it!
Like remember how?
And then what happened? We're
They're
back.
still there.
Remember how everybody used to like when reality TV was first became a thing and people go, "Oh, it's so scripted," blah blah blah. This is like reality TV, only it's and it is scripted probably by Adam, but like it's his time to release. But everybody gets to participate in it. Like everyone online gets to go. When's got well, let's do the watch party. Let's
Hey, do you think it's gonna
build
break like so many people are gonna be on? It's gonna break the internet.
It might.
to
It
where-
could. Remember when P Diddy was doing the Demon Time?
Oh yeah.
And then we were watching it, and there was so many people on the live that it
froze.
OnlyFans
It, like,
does
shut down.
not. It just
Are
it
they
really
doing a-
cannot handle
Is
so
it a
many
pay?
people at
Is it
once.
a pay per view?
I have no idea.
Like,
Yes, it's pay per view.
You have to
They
go on
gonna get that money.
OnlyFans.
So you have to
and how
subscribe,
much?
and then you have to buy the video. So
I like what
how
you
much
said.
they're
I
selling?
like what you said about gentrifying the industry
gentrifying.
because it's like even if it could suck, but people will
Right.
be like, "Wow, look, oh my God, it's leaning the
gonna
plug. It's
monetize.
finally look at all the this build up to it." And if it doesn't, it probably can't possibly measure up to the hype that it's going. Even what are they going to do that hasn't already been done? Right? It's just it's leaning the plug in a black guy. That's,
Well,
And
I heard
and
Grimace
it's
gets
just
involved in this
that
one. It's a
It's
threesome.
on their paywall, OnlyFans, and not a major production company like Brazzers or Blacked or Slay. I mean, it is using a star from Black, and this is where I also am like, is Blacked in on this? Like,
Hey, who do you think-
Is this a partnership?
Who's
100%.
getting paid more, her or the black guy?
Adam. So
Adam's getting paid more.
I heard.
overall, he probably is
There's
getting
a
paid more.
YouTube channel of a woman. She's like a lawyer, and she went into the business filings of it. And so, yes, Lena is a partner on their company, but Adam is the major, umbrella holder, and so of course he's going to be making more money.
Well, she holding some
and
too, though.
You already see him really like now. He was kind of pandering to other YouTubers and big streamers.
Put me on this
Twitch.
pandering thing. She put me on that one
Here's
too.
the thing.
Pandering.
Heidi Fleiss was the first
He
one.
only
that
gets
Pandering.
really-
he only gets away with this once.
Oh, you
Right.
think, this is a one-time cash out move.
Well,
yeah.
because like, for instance, if I was to say, okay, she's going to do a porn movie, and we're going to find some way to like pretend that I don't know, we could find some like celebrity or something. Like, oh, she's actually with us, and you could build it up over the course of like 2 weeks and manufacture this online kind of scandal that's going on all the way up to the time that the movie drops. It's kind of like what like big Hollywood films do is like they try to build up the hype of something, for the new summer blockbuster. Only in this case, it's done with what I call engagement media, right? Engagement media is people who want to feel like they're part of that story. So in the small scale, it's like doing a live stream. Like the reason why Fresh and Fit or my show or Access Vegas or all these other shows, when they have like a live stream and a live chat going on, the people want to be in the live chat so they can put in like a super chat, or they want to be able to feel like they're part of that show, that they can direct the course of the conversation that's going on in that live chat. So but that's only for the 2 to 5 hours or whatever that the show's going on, right? And people keep coming back again and again and again, and they'll put all kinds of money on there. Like Fresh and Fit will they have been the #1 most super chatted show on planet Earth in some cases, depending on what the scandal was or what they were talking about. Right. But then think about this. So that's engagement media. I've been on
Can you put up Access Vegas, the logo up there?
So I've been on it was on Dr. Phil we shot in November last year, but it aired on February and then again in May, because it did 2 parts. And I was there and I go, this is old school media, because there's no engagement. There's the audience can't participate in the actual conversation that's going on, or the studio audience, they're already prepared with questions, and here's the point of conversation, and this person's going to say this at this particular minute in the show. So everything's like very, very controlled. Whereas like engagement media it's people who are having a conversation just like this, and they can super chat in, or they can chat in, whatever, they put it up on the screen, and so that they directs the course of the conversation. Now, if you took that and you do what Adam's doing, everybody who's talking about this right now, it's like a larger scale, it's a meta scale engagement media. So he starts off with saying, I feel kind of insecure, Destiny, about being a cuckold. What do you think? Well-known cuckold. And so they have this back and forth, and then people start talking about it, and it's engagement media, but it's on Instagram, it's on Twitter, it's on God knows wherever
TikTok,
else, on TikTok, on YouTube comments,
Rumble.
on everything else, and on every chat that talks about it, about the show. So now it's engagement media, but it's at a meta scale, a bigger scale. And I will gotta say, man, I respect the hustle for.
Right.
And I don't agree with what he's doing, but like the hustle and the business,
That's
you
a
took
hustle.
that.
The marketing.
Man, I mean, let your
You're
wife get
building-
dug out for a bag.
you're
You know what I'm
building it-
saying?
Yeah, you're building it.
I mean-
And so that's what everybody talks about. I can't believe I would you ever let your wife do that? Like, you just asked me this. Like,
Yeah.
are you on board with this? That's not the point. The point is, like, of course I wouldn't. But like but people want to talk about exactly
Someone that would.
Oh, with this because
Well,
they believe that the kayfabe and the bullshit is real.
I think it's just because they're kind of recently married and they recently have a kid. If that wouldn't have been like,
Well, he's been married for 7 years.
They've
They've
been together for a while.
together
Yeah.
for 7 years.
Oh,
They just
married?
got married last month.
yeah, so that's why it's
Yeah.
like I believe it's so huge right now because you just got married, you just had a kid, so maybe if
But
it
it's like
was
they're
prior,
putting that content out there. Normally, porn stars, you do kind of put some of your personal business out there, but you're very private. There's a persona life and your personal life. You don't really put your personal life out there because now, where do you turn it off?
Yeah.
Now everybody, we're all in their bedroom right now. We are
There's
we
no
are
rewind.
trying to
people
figure out.
people talk about like like when their kid grows up or whatever.
Yeah.
So even with you being in porn, when your kid grows up, they're not ever gonna know what your porn name was. They're not gonna search you and find you. Like,
who gives a rat's ass? I do what I'm doing
Yeah.
because I'm going to ensure that my daughter is not going to do what I'm doing.
well, but I'm just saying, Lena the Plug and Adam 22. By the time their kid grows up,
Right.
they're not gonna look up
And
my
they're
mom
probably
and
gonna
dad.
have a
Like,
different business life, home
Yeah.
life. But Adam did go on a podcast and he was talking about that if his daughter had, a choice between a 9 to 5 and an opportunity to go on OnlyFans and sell her pictures of her boobs, he would advise her to do OnlyFans. And that was already like, whoa.
Yeah,
Well,
that would inspire me to like work that much harder to keep my baby off the pole.
Right.
Inspiration.
So you don't hear. I'm gonna work my ass off so you don't have to do OnlyFans.
Yeah.
Yeah, Brad Lee actually had an interesting. We asked him about that, with his daughter, and his thing was, he said, if my daughter was super beautiful and making that kind of money, he goes, I would teach her what to do with that money to pave her future. He goes, but if she wasn't, and she was just on there for the 200, the 500,
Right.
he's like, I'd have her the fuck off there, So I mean, I don't know what I would do if my daughter grew up, but it'll be something different by then.
Yeah, I was gonna say it would be something.
And
else.
it's like I don't know if I would control you. You want to support your kids and what they do, but I believe the same thing. Like, it's not like you're supporting, but if they're not doing well in it, it's like, what are you doing?
Well,
Like,
we talk about that all on my show and on
Yeah.
Access Vegas and stuff. Is that at no other time in like the human history have we had to deal with these kinds of like the things that we deal with right now. Like, oh, you have a digital footprint of your porn, your OnlyFans, even your booty shots on Instagram. Those are like the internet. That's permanent. It's there forever. Like somebody somewhere has an archive of your fucking shots.
It's like the cloud. It don't come down.
Yeah, well, I mean, so they
Yeah.
always say, the internet never forgets, but
Yeah.
like people have very short attention spans. So,
Yes.
so
It's impressive.
when we're talking about like digital footprints, we always get into this idea of like when women get to a certain point or a certain age where they want to like sort of settle down, they're looking for something a little bit more permanent. That digital footprint is going to follow them. So a guy's going the concern is that the guy's going to have a problem with the fact that she's like been advertising herself, or maybe she's in the business, maybe not porn, but she's a model, she's an FHM model, or maybe she's just doing like Penthouse or
that's
or
what I was
Playboy
gonna say.
or
If you're
something.
with a porn
Yeah.
star, and that's what, and people are like, oh, is that bad, or is that gross you out? Is it? No, because even girls that aren't porn stars sleep with 20 dudes.
Well,
So
you
like,
know,
what's the difference? I mean,
90% of what
there's
you
like,
I mean, with a few exceptions, but 90% of the stuff that you see like on Twitter or maybe like Instagram, just like 10, 20 years ago, that would have been considered softcore porn.
Right.
Yeah.
Like you would have to pay for that on like Spice Channel and shit like that.
What did they used to put that on HBO?
Yeah.
I was telling him as a kid, man, I come from the era having to have a Playboy.
We don't
get a
even-
Playboy magazine out of my uncle's bed, bro.
Unless unless it's hardcore,
no
like
Instagram.
full insertion pornography, we don't even think twice about it. And you got to remember that, like, at no time in human history have we had that kind of virtual access to that kind of sexuality, and we're still trying to figure out how to process that.
And then so it goes into like Jonah Hill's incident.
Insecurities develop.
So Jonah
Dating
Hill
a hot woman.
had a professional surfer girl.
Can you
as
pull
a
up Jonah
girlfriend,
Hill, Hugh?
And
I gave you the before and after photo, by the way.
He was putting his
You know what I'm
non-negotiables about that, if they were going to be in a relationship and start a family, he is not okay with her posting pictures in her thong bikinis and having friends that are surfer guys. And it's like, but that was what she was doing
That's crazy.
before.
That's his insecurity peeking out.
That's like her saying, "I'm not secure with you doing movies with beautiful girls." Like,
Right.
what's going on?
That's her?
But and you know what? It's funny. They
Dude,
said
he's trying to be the dude.
they
He
said
is.
I'm a little worried right now.
like
He
Big
can't wear
Lebowski.
thongs, but he can have his whole chest out.
He's a white Russian, huh?
Does he have? Is that like a sailor's tattoo? Like a big old like
Hey,
anchor and
my
shit?
thing is, why are they matching suits?
I know.
And what is?
I don't know about that
guy
one,
on his
man.
collar, the little
He lost a
guy?
lot of weight. His face looks skinnier.
A bit, but I mean,
He looks like Aquaman's
he's
uncle.
Still very thick.
I would kill my dude if he said, "Hey, we're gonna go to this red carpet. We're gonna wear matching
Matching
suits."
blazers. Let's go get the Happy
Like,
Gilmore
does she-
blazer.
Wait, go back to that. Scroll down again. Look at that. Does she look happy to be there?
No,
Bro,
she looks like I wish I was in a thong right now.
Yeah, like,
on a
bikini.
beach on my OnlyFans. Look,
yeah,
see?
he even died.
They-
as
you
a-
Like,
just
do
like-
you realize what those tan lines are like? That ain't sexy. I don't want no shorts.
But
tan
they're showing you
lines.
the most tame ass pictures.
Well, that's
she's
not
got.
what I'm
This
saying.
is like the
I'm
most
that's not
leveled,
that
mild
sexy,
photo
but-
available.
It's like fucking. It's like clam bake, or something. For Elvis.
However,
Why's Kirby in there? What's Kirby doing with a knife right there? Yeah, what was that?
Cool on her part to
the hell was
like
that?
expose their text messages, and then she was basically saying
He
like
exposed her text
she
messages.
exposed their text.
Is that what that
messages
is?
After he had a baby with another woman,
Yeah,
so
you got-
she waited until.
And by the way, they had been broken
She's
up
scandalous
for
for that one.
almost a year. So
Yeah.
it's been
She's
a
scandalous
while.
for that one.
It's been a
Yeah.
while. And she only started like exposing these after the kid.
Cloud chase.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
And but by the way, he ain't clean either. So I'm just gonna say because
Right.
they have this back and forth exchange. If you look at this, I made my boundaries clear. There's a lot of like therapy speak in all of these. It's like, oh, I supported your needs and I support you. You were vulnerable with me, and now I can't be vulnerable anymore. It's like Jesus Christ. Like, who are they? Like, are they like being counseled by Oprah?
And I'm just like, why is this? Why are we getting bombarded with this?
This is a whole lot of drama, yo.
Yeah.
Because
Jonah
people love
needs
it.
to
dude.
just get back in the.
It's the same. It's the same thing with Adam 22. Like it's the same principle. Anyways,
Yeah.
people
Right.
want to talk about this shit. And this happened like a year ago. Like those texts were.
Yeah,
Well,
that's what-
Shout to. He lost a lot of weight though, man.
he sure did.
He did, but not enough to like compete with the guys that look like Point Break.
Surfers.
That she was like teaching as it's like Matthew McConaughey at Point Break. That's true.
Yeah.
It's like,
Walker
That's her- that's her
White.
daily-
I don't know if I'm cool with
It's
that.
like a
Maybe you should
regular.
Stop. Yeah,
It's like a regular thing. Like, oh yeah.
Giselle working out with the jiu-jitsu guy.
Yeah.
that Tom hired. Like,
I don't know.
now,
Very
two things. One,
Pat-
she's gonna beat your ass. Two, the guy will beat your ass.
Well,
So Tom, you're out. You're fucked either way.
Cassie, who was with P Diddy,
yeah.
she's married to her trainer that he hired,
Oh,
and now they have 2 kids.
don't ever hire your
Tom
wife.
Brady had to go out like that,
Well,
right?
you know they say when like a woman is like done with you, she's been done with you like 6 months before you get the news, right? And she's already go. I think I'm gonna go to the gym and work out with like look at. But that's the build up to like here's the papers.
There's a lot of memes. You see how the trainer be behind the woman and stuff. This video is like men watching their girlfriend
know.
work out with the trainer, and like they like where they're watching, like, oh, look at him, that's my wife, and the
Yes.
trainer's all like
You know.
grabbing the ass
Yeah.
and everything, bent over the girl. Oh, it's my wife. bro.
All the guy
you
trainers
know
out
him.
here
He
are
has been to
booty.
your house. He has eaten your food. He's drank your
been in your
wine,
bed.
and he will betray you.
Take your money.
Take your money.
You was wondering where your snacks went. He took them on the way out the door with him.
Yeah. He's gonna take your dog when you get the divorce too. Nah, I just but
Coldest
the
world.
whole thing with Jonah, like Jonah Hill is like watching the reading the exchanges and everything else.
Yeah.
like a lot of people want to say like he was in the right for setting boundaries and everything, and I get that, but there's better ways to set boundaries. Like I've always said, like you don't set boundaries by like talking about it and giving ultimatums and shit. You just enforce the fucking boundaries, right? You demonstrate, you don't explain them to, because if you don't, there's no consequences. So rather than this, well, if you don't, like, baby, if you don't do this, I'm going to do this, and if you constantly do that and you don't follow up with any consequences or results, you're fucked.
Don Johnson
you'll
told
lose
us
the respect,
yesterday. We were talking about marriage, and he said he said he didn't really he didn't really believe in the marriage thing, but he said you write out the boundaries. And so then when that person doesn't hold up their end of the deal, you have it. It's notarized. Doesn't have nothing to do with the court. It's a legal agreement. And then, obviously if something happens, one of you know what happened.
And I understand how that is. That's very transactional. I think like if you are, what is, I mean, it's almost like a prenup, right? If you don't do these things, then if you don't give me a blowjob every third day, then then you're out the door, right?
Damn it.
But that's explaining those boundaries rather than like demonstrating those boundaries. So I always use this, like when we talk about this on Access or on my show, it's like
when you say my show, what's your show called?
The Rational Man.
Rational
Man. It's Sunday every 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern.
Message.
So when I'm talking about boundaries, the thing is like she should know what those are, right? Because you know what kind of guy I am. So when I get this constantly, guys will say, "Hey, my girl, my wife, my girlfriend, whatever it is, she wants to go to Vegas with girls' night out." Or she's like, they live somewhere else and they're gonna fly out for a weekend in Vegas or something. Can I go? Are you okay with that? Like asking permission. So what should I say, Rollo? I'm like, you tell her, go right ahead, have a good time, whatever. I said, when she's gone, you take all her shit and put it out on the sidewalk, change the locks, and you're done.
My God!
You don't argue about it, though.
Now, that doesn't sound very rational.
That was very rational.
That is very rational.
He didn't argue.
That is very
that's
because,
rational.
and I'll explain. I say that for a fact, by the way. So, but the point of that is like by order of degree. I'm not actually saying you go and do that, but the boundaries have to be something that is, if it happens, then this happens, and you have to be the one to enforce those boundaries, because boundaries don't mean shit unless you're the kind of guy that's going to enforce those boundaries.
And you, Domo, being a porn star and a stripper, when these boys go on the boys trip, what they're doing.
Yeah.
So
balls to the walls.
Okay, so it's
balls to the
I mean,
walls.
but do girls do that on girls trips?
Of course. Well, here's
hella.
the
It
time.
doesn't matter.
Women
I'll
are
tell you
worse
why.
than men sometimes.
I'll tell you why it doesn't matter, because it's not the going on the trip. It's the want and the desire to go on that trip. It's you're not the kind of guy that I'm a better, like if I'm the high value guy, if I'm the best you can fucking do. The idea is that she shouldn't want to go on that in the first place, because she would rather be spending the weekend with you. It's the want and the desire to do that.
Her friends may be single, and that's why they're taking the girls trip.
True. So it's the desire to go and
go
hang
find
out
some
with them and
guys.
pretend she's single while you're at home watching the kids or whatever else it is. Now, that's like guys get it like, oh man, it's this jealousy instinct, but it's not. It's about the want and the desire to do it. Why does it seem like a good idea to go do that rather than a good idea to stay with me and fuck me on the weekend? Right? That's the whole point. It comes down to genuine desire. So it's not the asking for permission. It's not the behavior. It's the want and the desire to do that behavior in the first place. So that's why I said you need to be able to demonstrate rather than explicate, because she wants to go and do those things. You can't make her want to do things. She has to want to do them on her own. That's the difference between obligation and genuine desire. So if you say, "No, bitch, I don't want you to go out there," now suddenly you're controlling. It's exactly what every woman on planet Earth said about Jonah Hill.
Misogynist.
Well, what's crazy?
Misogynist. He's controlling. He's a tyrant. He's insecure in his masculinity. I mean, run down the list just for everything he says.
That's wild, though.
they were a little harsh
There's two
on-
flips to that, though, man, because I've been in a position where I'm over secure, and I've had women have a problem with that because I don't question them. I don't ask these questions, and they look at me like, "What are you doing?" I'm used to guys hounding me for shit, like when I do something, and because I don't ask a single question because I'm busy with my own life, my own hustle.
I do the
Right?
same thing.
But
I've
it
always
flips
said,
you, right?
I always said I will never tell a girl what to do ever.
Yeah.
Now the bad side of that is later on when something does happen, and they're like, "Well, you
don't care.
you didn't show any kind of," and I'm like, "Well, I just don't want to tell you what to do." But it is inviting them to do whatever, and then it's like, "Well, it's your fault," if you. But then I'm like, but I don't like the guy that's overprotective and acting all crazy either.
Yeah, it's not
like
me.
if I go to with my girl to a nightclub, and we're with a group, and a guy comes up to hit her, listen, he don't know that's my girl. You're at Club Excess. He's just
It's a
coming up to say-
compliment.
he's coming up to say hi.
As long as not
You
disrespectful.
know, you don't need to come in and be like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah,
you
he doesn't
doing?
know that's your woman, right?
Yeah,
so,
he doesn't know. Now, if he knew, like if you're standing there,
That's a
holding
different
hands,
story. That's disrespectful.
and then
yeah.
you for a second, and he comes in. But most people don't know, man. You're in
Mm-hmm.
Vegas, you know, a lot of scattered
But
parties.
is it wrong? Like, should the women be like, "Hey, before I want to go on this trip, like, we gotta have a talk"?
Well, here's
'cause
the
I'm
thing
not
is,
very happy.
well, okay, so here's the thing is, you should know what the answer is going to be before you even ask the question. You should know. You should say, "That's the kind of guy who's not going to be cool with me going and doing this." That's the kind. You know what? He's so fucking high value. I'm not even gonna have this conversation
this could be
because
a-
because I don't want him to get any ideas that I want to fuck somebody else because he's the guy that I want to have babies with. He's the guy that I want to be
They choose
with.
up. They choose
And
you.
so that's why I say it's the desire to want to go do that, because even in the vocalizing of that desire to go and like ask permission to go and do that. Now, if your girlfriend, your wife says, "Hey, I want to go hang out with my friends" or something, it's not like you got to like, you know, put her in fucking chains and get her in the kitchen kind of
Get
thing.
over here.
I'm just saying, but if it's like this constant kind of thing, you know, it's not like she can't have a social life.
Yeah, of course.
But if
Every
it says,
weekend.
"Hey man, hey, you know
Every
what?
Thursday night at 8
Hey
a.m.
man, it's May, it's Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah.
You know what that means? Me and the girls go to Vegas. And what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. Bye. You know that kind of shit.
yeah.
Here's your shit's on the fucking sidewalk. You know, well because it has to have, there has to be consequences. There has to be
for
some
real.
teeth in the fucking because the whole
It's
thing about
different, though,
boundaries
than
respect, man.
boundaries make no difference unless there's some fucking pain involved. There has to be something like you cross a boundary, fuck, you're out.
You know, aftermath.
kind of like
Jonah,
domination.
Jonah Hill should have just said bye, bitch.
Yeah.
Because that would have been the mature response to this instead of having this back and forth like
Trying
junior
to
high school
justify-
bullshit going on and on and
Yeah.
on.
He's too successful for that.
No,
Well, no,
I
he's,
said
he's too much of a no. He's got fat guy.
the
syndrome is what
fat
it
guy,
Yes, he
fat
does.
guy.
He's got fat
syndrome.
guy
Yep.
insecurities, and that's why when she's out there, like, you know, teaching Point Break to fucking, you know, how to surf. Yeah, look at the guy, and then look at Jonah Hill, right? So,
Yeah. I had to tell this guy.
Yeah, he's super
before-
bad though, man.
that-
and I'm not gonna-
and even if that's not the case with her,
Yeah,
it
yeah.
still is in the back of his head.
Yeah.
There's
facts.
there's a really popular guy out here. I'm not going to say his name, but he did it. He was about 350 pounds. Did the lap band. Now he's, you know, he's got money. He's a good looking dude or whatever. I know he's got the fat guy mentality, but then I just, you know, slowly but surely started seeing him disrespect girls, even flex on guys. And I had to tell him, I'm like, bro, what happened? You know, back when you were this weight, you
like,
weren't.
"Yeah, I can finally do it."
Doing that, but I'm
I've
like,
been
you know
waiting
what?
my whole
You know,
life
yeah,
for this.
You don't even have to do that though, because you know they know. I see characteristics that he's got the fat guy syndrome, and he's always going to remember that.
Do you think there's hope for this generation of men and women?
We're fucked.
I mean, because we're a lot more open than we have been.
Yeah, of course.
Do you
years.
think Lena and Adam opened the door to now every
opened
husband
something.
and wife are like, hey, should we try that?
Let me tell you something. Like I always.
Could be.
We always like, especially like I'm Generation X, okay? So between me and Generation Z, there's like the millennials, right? So there's like the boomers, there's Gen X, then there's the millennials, and then there's the Zoomers right now, Generation Z. And Z is real. I mean, I guess you're on
I'm
how old-
1989.
okay, so you're technically
You're a
like
millennial.
I'm a
you're the
millennial.
tail end of the
Yeah,
millennials,
I'm
right
not
there.
a Gen Z.
Yeah,
That's where I'm at this. I'm
so like I know a lot of guys who are Gen Z who give me and girls too, by the way, who give me hope. Like the guy who is the second guitarist in my band, he works for Tesla. He is 26 years old now. He's got a wife. He's got 2 kids. He makes like probably about $250,000 a year doing what he's doing, and he's very focused, very determined. And I'm like, God damn, man, this is a Zoomer that actually gives me some hope for the future, right? And then there's other people too, like Maya, like she's 21 years old. Granted, she could be an FHM model, but she was talking with Robert Kiyosaki just 2 weeks ago, and they were talking like business. Like she could have been like an entrepreneur getting advice from like a guy who like knows his shit. So she was like on her game. Every now and then I'll see a Zoomer that just sort of like this last little bright shining hope, you know, that maybe something might go right with some of these. What's
a Zoomer? What age?
Generation Z? 20s, in
Zoomer.
their 20s. Yeah, I believe it's 20.
There we go with some facts on the
Generation
screen,
Z,
guys.
Gen Z, 1996 through 2010, right there. So they're about 20, 25, 20, almost like anything under.
See,
30.
millennials know about Google, social media, video games, Y2K.
Y2K.
Y2K was a big deal.
That was a big deal.
You said you're Gen X?
Gen X.
Yeah, I'm Gen X too.
Oh man, shout out to Gen X, got the A's and the MTV.
Oh yeah. Hey, we got the 80s though. We did get
Berlin
the 80s.
Wall.
Desert Desert Storm. Oh my god.
Yes.
Anyone-
We had all the cool bands.
Anyone in the silent generation?
Oh, yeah, we had 9/11.
Anyone in the silent generation? R.I.P. Man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not no more.
ISIS,
Not no
Sandy
more.
Hook,
Unless you
American
still holding on.
Poverty.
Unless you still holding on somehow.
My mom would have been silent generation. I didn't even realize that. Silent generation. That they also call them the greatest
My dad was
generation too, because that was World War II.
That was built on, different.
Yeah. The boomers were after like the post-war babies. That's why.
Shout out the boomers got Woodstock though. That was a big deal.
Yeah.
That's a
You
big
know,
deal.
One thing they don't put on there is the sexual revolution.
Oh,
They
that's
got
true.
that on
Right.
That should have been number one, damn
there.
it.
Should've been
Hey, hold on.
Free love generation.
Can we put that back at number one? It's free love.
Yeah. No, I mean, but so like Gen Z, you got to remember that's like what 96. That's a generation. Like my daughter is part of Gen Z, right? This is a generation that's never not known a cell phone or not known social media or not known the internet, right? So the tablet toddlers, that whole thing.
That's right now.
And so like, again, we're looking at a generation that's been sort of brought up online that hasn't known like Twitter, hasn't known Instagram, hasn't known even Tumblr, right? It hasn't known those.
I remember
things,
Tumblr.
right?
Oh man, you used to have to write code on there.
Tumblr.
Yeah.
I never use that.
Yeah.
No, it's gone. I mean, what's
That
that?
was-
You know why
that
it
was
died?
where the
Because
first
they
thirst
took porn
traps-
off of it. They
Yeah,
took porn
the-
off
For a
of
minute,
it.
Tumblr was a
first
big deal for a
thirst
minute.
traps were on there.
Yeah. People ask me about that too. They go, "Do you think that Twitter will ever like get killed off by like some of these other like platforms?" I go, "Nope, it will always be around."
What's up with Thread?
I said, "You know why?
That Thread shit.
One reason: pornography.
Yeah.
That's why it will always hardcore porn on Twitter will be what sustains that platform.
Threads will not match up to Twitter because that's Zuckerberg, and he's definitely not going to let.
But they're about to fight, right? Aren't they about to
guidelines
go down? They about
That's
to
Elon Musk.
Elon Musk about to fight him
Who you
Elon
got?
Musk and Zuckerberg.
Who do you got in that fight?
down. At the Coliseum.
at the Coliseum too.
Is it
And
You know what? I got to put my money on Elon because he got the weight. He's
Yeah.
got the weight
No,
class behind him.
and the old
Zuckerberg's
man's
got.
strength.
He's like a judo. He's training judo or something. Brazilian jiu-jitsu.
I know John Jones
I
is
know,
training
he's
him,
weird.
and so is St. Pierre. Those are some good coaches.
I mean,
for
if-
that.
He's a
That's some good
reptile.
coaches, bro.
If Elon could get some like training in like sumo wrestling or some shit.
Elon needs to just like slam him hard. He's like,
Mark Zuckerberg. Actually,
see, look at that, look at that. You can slap, you can slam that man. You can pick him up and just like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because he got size on him, right? Like
I
Elon's
saw
stocky.
some pictures of Zuckerberg here without his shirt on, and he's pretty ripped. I mean,
He's
he's
been doing that for a while, so
he's
he
not
just
out
got
of
his black
shape.
belt, right? Or
He's a black belt.
yeah, I think that's
Oh,
that was Brazilian jiu-jitsu.
He's not
Because
playing.
everybody was talking that shit on him.
He
so
was like, "Oh, you think
like,
I'm
hold
Mr.
up.
Facebook, huh? Okay,
That's
Hey,
that's
Facebook
that
your
nerd,
ass."
nerd security.
Is there any validity
Insecurity.
that somebody said that the winner of this is going to take on Tom from MySpace?
Oh, Tom would whoop. I put my money on Tom, bro. Tom's the OG home. That's our first friend. Hey, Tom's our first friend.
Yes.
Hey, Tom had our back.
There is
Tom,
no validity to that rumor.
Hey, you know what?
HTML and
I
CSS.
ain't gonna lie to you, bro. I'm riding for Tom all day. Even if he
Tom.
loses, I'm
He's
still be
still
cool with
wearing
him.
that white
and he
T-shirt.
was all of our friends.
Bro, he had our back, bro.
Actually, I think it's Bezos that has winner.
Oh yeah,
I got winner.
John Bezos.
Bezos is real. He's pretty yoked now too. He's got to be on TRT. He's got to be on TRT.
Something.
He old man.
Hey, so something
got
something I wanted to go back into just on the thing. So when I watch your guys' show and I'm talking about access, not the rational male, I'm like, what is the whole concept of it? The part that I don't get is I'm like, what is the like if you interview
Having
a person, it's
conversation.
like you know. We're interviewing you. We're getting your information. What is the concept of it, and then why the different levels?
All right, so it's a variation on a theme. I'll be the first one to tell you that. Now, Myron and Fresh from Fresh and Fit were sort of the pioneers of this format, okay, which is like you get a table together in a nice location. Usually, it works better if you're like in Miami or Vegas or in like LA or someplace where there's like hot women are coming through all the time.
Yep.
And the concept is this: is you got two guys who are going to talk about quote, red pill topics. Myron, is a big fan of my book, and like I would call Myron Gaines probably the best representative of the red pill as far as I'm concerned. Who's out there right now, besides myself. And he is doing this format where you get a bunch of girls together, and it's not just the girls. He does other interviews and things too, but like their after hour show is they get anywhere between 10 to 12, sometimes as many as like 14 or 15 girls in their studio. It's a dedicated studio. It's an apartment basically on the 59th floor of the Panorama Towers, and it overlooks Biscayne Bay. It's a beautiful location. And they get the girls together, and they have like conversations, and it's basically holding these girls accountable. It's kind of what Kevin Samuels was trying to do one-on-one. They have it sort of in a group setting, right? And so they've been around for 2.5 years now. They started in January of 2021, and it can get heated. right? Sometimes the girls are like throwing back, 2 or 3 White Claws in, and now suddenly it's like, it's like they're throwing, wagging fingers and shit. And so it's
Wagging
Off of the White Claws?
off the White Claws. Well, but the thing is like, I
give
think a
them
lot of
tequila.
people, you got to remember that like Miami is like a tourist destination. So the girls will come out there, or they'll specifically go out there. And sometimes they'll have like a male guest, or sometimes it'll just be the girls. So they do it Monday, Wednesday, and Friday right now. They were doing it every day, but like, I guess it got too like, exhausting to do that. So they'll get the girls on there. They'll do these shows, and like crazy ass shit happens. Like it's like Maury Povich, Jerry Springer kind of shit.
I can see
like
some
back
drama
and forth.
pop, a battle of the
But
sexes,
the
right?
point of it is to have conversations that are sort of like between men and women that don't that don't happen sort of like naturally, And so they have them there, and a lot of people think that the idea of the show is just to kick the bitches off the show. Sometimes Myron has to Frank Castle them off of the show, like you're out of here kind of thing. And so, really, I think.
So, do you guys hope that the girls like?
No, we don't do that. See, that's not the point of our show. So, if you look at like Whatever Podcast in Santa Barbara, Brian from Whatever Podcast, he does a very similar format. Pearl, very similar format in the UK. They're basically all, people say they're all ripoffs of Fresh and Fit, which many ways they are. People want to say that that's what Access Vegas is about. Well, we started doing this now. I have been involved with Myron and Fresh since day one. In fact, I knew Myron before he was even doing this stuff. We had a panel show called Rule Zero that he was a part of for a while, and then he started doing this. And I've helped him along the way. I've helped Fresh along the way. I've been sort of influential in all that. I've been influential with Valuetainment, who also, Adam Sosnick, does something very similar, although it's not at a table. It's sort of like a talk show kind of situation right now. I've helped him. I've helped Jedediah Bila, Valuetainment, once again, talk about these topics. And so now it's sort of like the hold the bitch accountable thing, or it's like, let's talk about the differences between men and women, and everybody wants a piece of the manosphere right now. Even PragerU, Daily Wire wants some of this. I've got people at the Blaze. I have been on with Sydney Watson and Elijah Schaefer on what used to be You Are Here podcast, and Slightly Offensive, talking about the same kinds of stuff. So it's variations on the theme, and that's really what Access Vegas is, kind of like a variation on that. Only when I linked up with Mike Sartain, I was deciding whether I wanted to go do something in Florida or if I was going to do something in Vegas. My partner Miguel said, "Hey, let's go do something in Vegas because we need a West Coast hub." All this stuff happens in, like, Joe Rogan is in like Texas. Nashville is the headquarters for Daily Wire and all that, and then everybody else is in South Florida, in either Fort Lauderdale or they're in Miami, and primarily in Miami. I'm like, okay, well that's a saturated market. I don't want it. So I already live in Reno. Miguel lives in Vegas. He says, let's just do something in Vegas. So we're starting. We got set up with Sticky Paws studio. Mike Sartain. I did one interview with Mike, and I said, we're going to do this show. And he's like, yes, we're going to do the show. So Mike sources the girls, originally was sourcing the girls, and now they're kind of sourcing themselves because they want to be a part of this. Mm-hmm. Our point is not to kick them off the show. Our point is to actually have the conversations and be a little bit more in depth rather than like trying to be all red meat as sizzle and steak. We're more steak and sizzle than just like sizzle and this, trying to like generate sort of.
So something that I thought of, when I was watching it, and this is just like as a new watcher, I'm like, everything that you and Michael say, you got the facts on.
Yeah.
So I'm like, are they bringing these girls on that are like, might not be as, as smart?
Well, that's the thing, is like a lot of the girls are very, very smart. That's the thing. We've had two former Miss Nevadas, like a big pageant. We have was it Jamie Villamore? She's 42, but she could be in a Fitness America pageant.
Oh yeah,
and she is like
the shooter girl.
She's a shooter girl, and she's an entrepreneur. We've had women who make more money off of their real estate, being real estate entrepreneurs, than they did on their. They were doing OnlyFans, and they transitioned over to doing real estate, and they're making more like they're millionaires. They're certified multimillionaires. So.
For the most part, it's always
you've been on three times now.
Every time I've been on, it's a great diverse group of women that aren't in the same industry.
So, but because they got big titties and they got Kardashian lips and they they have that certain way, that's the appeal, right? I mean, that's the draw. Yeah. But once we get on there, like, they can actually carry a conversation.
Yes, that's right. So when we did Michael, I was telling Domo, I was like, I've been out here since 2005, so I've been seeing Michael around forever. Didn't know nothing about him. So like I said, as the build up to coming in my head, I'm like, okay, is this guy a douchebag? Is he not a douchebag? real quick. He's definitely not a douchebag.
Yes.
But he came in and I mean, he just, he surprised, he hit us with so much knowledge, and like I said, at no point did I feel, I'm like, is this just another guy? He's got all these girls. There's a lot of people in Vegas that do that little hustle.
We have to be very careful of that too, because the reason why Mike and I click so well is because we read the same books. We're very he and I are very on the same level.
That's the next question. So what I was gonna say was what. When you guys come out with these facts, I'm like, who did you gain your knowledge from? Are you street smart? Are you book smart? Are you college smart?
All of the above.
All of the above.
So I'll just give you a little bit of my background. I mean, I grew up in Southern California. That's why I was born and raised in Pasadena, California. I spent a lot of time in my rock star 20s and in Hollywood metal scene, obviously. And then I got married in 1996. I have been married for a while. I've worked in coming up on 27 years actually. I've been so I went through that through the late 80s and early 90s. Then I also I worked in wine and spirits for a while. I worked in casino marketing for a while. My background is actually I have 2 degrees. I got one a Bachelor of Fine Arts and I got a BS in behavioral psychology. So I got those, and then I've also it's lived experience basically. But I can speak knowledgeably on a lot of different things. I started working in the casino industry and doing advertising and marketing for as in Reno, but also in Lake Tahoe, also in Mississippi and some other places that were affiliate properties. So I'm always out there running promos, and when I'm doing these things, I'm sort of taking mental notes. I'm kind of I'm observing the humans in the wild. The joke is I'm like Jane Goodall or Diane Fossey of the red pill. I watch the humans are interesting behavior, right? And so I took that and I started, I was part of a community back in the early 2000s called So Suave. Now, this is one of the old PUA seduction community forums.
And PUA is
pickup artist.
Pickup artist.
Yeah. So this is seduction
I thought
community.
PUA wasn't that a loan?
That was the
No.
Not the pandemic.
True say.
No.
You want some government money, man?
Yeah.
PUA.
He's like, I know the PUA.
Yeah.
So those conversations that we were having back then, I could relate to because I was always out in the clubs. Now, I wasn't trying to get laid because I was actually doing work and I was working those clubs. And then I got into, right around 2005, I worked in wine and spirits. And so I would just sort of amplified that. Now I'm going and doing liquor promos. I'm doing on-premise, liquor promotion stuff. I'm going to martini fests and stuff like that. Now I have to source girls to be at those to pour liquor for me, and guys too, to pour liquor for me for these things. And so I'm doing these promotions. I'm in charge of the company I was working for. I'm in charge of probably about 24 top shelf brands of liquor because it's an import export. So I'm going to different places, fronting for different things. And I have to be the sober guy in the club, right? Because I'm working the club while everybody else is. I'm watching the interactions between these people. And so I'm seeing this go on, and I'm studying behavioral psychology. I'm studying evolutionary psychology at the same time. And I'm looking at all this interaction, and I'm seeing this, and I'm comparing it to what everybody's doing in the seduction communities at that time. And so that's where a lot of my early work came from my blog, which I started in 2011, The Rational Male. And then in 2013, I published my first book, which was The Rational Male, which was based on all my best work that I thought from 10, 12, 13 years of having these conversations, turning them into blog or essays, and then turning those into chapters of the book, right? Well, turns out that book ended up becoming the Bible of the Red Pill. Everybody goes back to The Rational Male as sort of the source material. And then I put out 4 more books since then. So there's the Preventive Medicine, there's Positive Masculinity, there's Religion. I wrote about the confluence between Red Pill stuff and religion. And my latest one, which is the Player's Handbook. Player's Handbook, people ask me, what's the
Player's Handbook?
Well, Handbook.
It's not a how to learn game, it's why it works. What are the psychological principles behind, amuse mastery and neg hits and stuff like that. It's not like here's how you do this and you're going to be a player at the end of this.
Not a manual.
It's why it works, and why it's because a lot of people today, they think that, this is silly, this is stupid. Why would this would never work on me? Well, I go into the psychological principles as to why it is a good idea to do these things, why it might work for you and why it might not work for you. So people keep thinking it's like a how-to. It's not. It's a why it works.
And is this comparable to Neil Strauss's book, The Game?
No.
And I remember when that book came out, and there was the show with Mystery, the pickup artist on VH1,
VH1,
and shit. I watched it. I ran into him, and
You are definitely a millennial.
I ran
They're
into
like, we gotta go back to that
him.
chart again.
I ran into him at a all ages like rave club in LA, but you know he didn't do his little moves on me, and I had a boyfriend, but I saw him around.
Yeah.
Did you actually read the game?
Was that?
Did you actually read the
Did you
game?
read
I
it?
have the book.
Yeah.
And you want to know why I have the book? I have the book only because a grower, when I went to his house, so this grower never been around ladies of the night, I guess you will. And he was very, trying to withstand his dominance. And then he was saying, because of my industry, and he's like, "You're not going to dominate me." And I was like, I'm not doing nothing. I'm here for,
Was the whip already out with the handcuffs at this point?
It wasn't out, but my brother was telling him some stuff. So that was already flooding his mind. And then he had the book, the game, and I was like, "Oh, that's interesting." I was like, "I want to read that book." And he was like, "Here, you could have it." And I did. I read it for my research, and
I'll tell you
I
informative
didn't really
information.
agree
I'll tell you a
with
story
it.
about the game. I read that. You got to remember that the game was published in 2005. That's how old that book is now. So, and all of the events that happened in that book took place between like 2002 and 2004, right? So, when I read that book, I thought it was good. Like somebody, handed it because they knew I was a part of that community at that time, and I was reading it. And I liked the book, but it wasn't the book I wanted, right? I wanted something that was a breakdown. I wanted to have something like more like meat and potatoes. Like it's entertaining. It's an entertaining book. It's fun to read, right? But as far as like learning stuff and principles, like he goes into some of these things as to like why they do what they do. But it's really more about the personalities and the characters that were in the book, like Mystery and all the people who eventually became part of RSD, which is Real Social Dynamics. And how they began and how they ended, and it should be a movie. I thought it was like it would make a really great feature movie.
It was more like a narrative, like the Rolling Stone articles, than it was like a manual.
And then he's got like it's almost like a graphic novel because in some places he's got like cartoons and stuff like that, like the line drawings and stuff, and then the book itself is presented in like it looks like it's a Bible. It's got like gold leaf and it's got like the little ribbon, in the middle of it.
What was it like being on Dr. Phil? I mean, first of all, is Dr. Phil a real doctor?
No, he's not a real doctor.
He is a real doctor.
He doesn't have his PhD though.
What? Yeah, he does.
No, I heard he doesn't.
No, he's got a dude.
Really?
Like back in the 70s. I
He's
think.
not licensed currently.
That's what it is. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
he's not licensed.
Hey, Oprah put him on.
So did he talk?
That's
to you?
all that matters,
Did
huh?
he make like? Did he basically like?
Oh, boy.
Did he go at?
I
you
hope I'm not-
with the
Okay, you know
books?
what? So
You have an NDA in
so-
place?
No, I did, but I can talk now because well, I'll tell you the funny thing is I shot that show in November of last year. And they didn't release the first because it's a 2-part thing. They didn't release the first part until February of this year. And right after I made the big mistake of like right after I got done with that show, I flew right to Vegas because we were doing a show, an Access Vegas, and of course everybody wanted to know how it went. And so I'm like yammering on and on. I'm like, then the producer calls me up and says, "You probably don't want to put that up because you're going to break your NDA." I was like, "Oh shit!" So I put it up. And then I had to take it down. I have it archived, so I'm going to probably put it back up later because a week after my show with Dr. Phil premiered, that's when they announced that they were canceling the show. They're canceling Dr. Phil after 21 years of canceling Dr. Phil.
Holy cow! I didn't hear that.
And so, and it was like he tried to say he was retiring, and then another story came out later that says no, the networks actually canceled his show. And so he was done, and then and so I asked the producers. I said, hey, "Can I talk about this now?" And they said, "Well, you can talk about the show itself, but don't talk about anything that went on behind the scenes, right?"
Yeah.
So. Then the second one came out, and I don't know if it's been discontinued, but once it's off the air, once it's like no longer syndicated, then I could talk about like all the shit that happened. But I can give you my impressions of what happened there.
But was it for him to like judge these books or judge?
No, not at all. No, you know what they wanted? They wanted Andrew Tate on the show. Is what they wanted. I was a proxy for Andrew Tate, and I'll tell you how it went down. And this is no secret. They hit me up first of all, they hit me up in August of 2020 when I was talking about Tomi Lahren. I was going off on her, and they wanted me to come on that show to do a head-to-head with Tomi Lahren. And they didn't tell me Tomi Lahren was part of the thing until like later on. They were kind of like, keeping on the down low and everything. And I turned it down. And then in 2022, October of 2022, they said, can we get you on the Dr. Phil show? And I said, okay, well, what's it going to be about? Oh, we want to talk about modern masculinity and the crisis of boys and stuff like it's all bullshit. Well, basically, because that's when Andrew Tate Andrew Tate had just got canceled in August, and it was before he got arrested in December, right? So we're talking about that period of time that was in there. And the first thing I said was, can you get Andrew Tate? And I was like, because they knew that I was tight with Andrew, right? And I said, I don't think he's going to do it because he doesn't come to the United States. He won't set foot in the United States. And she says, well, can you ask him if he would come on and do a live remote on the show? So I'm like, so I got a text. I said, hey, these guys want to know if you want to be on with me on this show. They really wanted Andrew. And he wouldn't do it because he had just converted to Islam back then, and he wasn't doing podcasts, he wasn't doing anything. He was just sort of like lying low. And now we get to about November, and he wouldn't do it because he didn't want to do anything that wasn't a non-Muslim kind of podcast back then. And so I told her, I said, no, sorry, he's not going to do it. And they said, okay, well, I guess we'll have you. Like, I was like second alternate. I was like the understudy for fucking, for
Plan B.
But
right?
did he come at you negatively? Like, did he come at you like?
Oh, who?
Dr. Phil.
Dr. Phil? Yeah, but I expected that. I knew he was, but it's only because he tries to play the idiot. Like he doesn't know what it's all about, but he knows. And if he doesn't, it's not even so much Dr. Phil. It's like the producers. Like they're the ones who write the scripting the show, right? In fact, this is no secret because it says it in the very beginning of the show. He says, he says, how many people here know anything about Andrew Tate? And like people like raising their hands. Well, I don't know anything about him, and we're going to find out about him today, right? Is he a misogynist? Yada yada yada. And of course, what they do is they do this sort of like greatest hits of Tate's like clips on YouTube and Instagram and everything else, and like they put him in the worst light that they possibly can, right? Like he's a misogynist, yada yada, but he's influencing the youth of today, and they have like teenage kids who are like, I love Andrew, what color's your Bugatti, and so within the first 5 or 10 minutes, all they're doing is this buildup of turning Andrew into this like misogynistic devil, right? And then they bring on this kid who clearly has he's somewhere on the autism, Asperger's syndrome spectrum right there. And as if he's the best representative of like sort of this acolyte or this follower of Tate. And I don't think they were ready for me because I'm not like the idiots that they usually have on there, right? I know I've been doing this for 21, 22 years now.
So you were able to keep composure.
I was because I knew exactly. I've been doing this a long time, and I knew exactly what they were going to say, and I knew people kept saying, this is career suicide, Rollo. This is a bad look for you. You're going to get creamed. I'm like, nope, I know exactly what I'm doing. I went in there and I did really well on that show. But was he trying to tear me down? Yeah, he was, but it wasn't even so much him. I was also on there with this girl, Marilyn something, I can't remember. She's a divorce attorney from Reno. I knew her from before. Dr. Richard Reeves was on there from the Brookings Institute. He was actually somebody that I suggested for that show to be on that show because I really wanted to go back and forth with him. And then they got this guy, Imran Ahmed, who is like from the UK. And he leads this organization for like the Center for Combating Online Hate, right? And his claim to fame is that he was the guy that took down Andrew Tate back in August when he got canceled by like YouTube and everything. And I knew it was full of shit because I knew the story behind it, right? So I knew he was going to start talking about that. So I was ready for him. But I knew they wanted to turn me into the proxy they couldn't get Andrew Tate, so they had to have somebody there who was the devil, right? And I gave him the devil. You want the devil? I will give you the devil. Right? I even wore my Lucifer Morningstar suit on that one, and because I knew that's what they wanted me to be. But you know what? I was on point the entire time because I knew exactly what I was going to do when I went in there, and I just like a surgeon just dissected.
Do you think Dr. Phil's a very smart guy, or is it just the producers around him?
He used to be. He used to be. Yeah. I can see why he does. Like, I can see why he's appealing to his demographic, which is the 3 o'clock, soccer moms who got nothing better to do, at that time. But I think the Dr. Phil that is on the Dr. Phil show is much different than the Dr. Phil that's on Joe Rogan, right? He'll go on Joe Rogan. He's like, fuck this and bullshit that, and woke this. Like he's a different dude when he's on those shows. But when he's on syndicated commercial TV, he's got to be Dr. Phil. He's got to be what they expect. Role. Yeah.
Yes. What was that? Before we wrap it up here, because our shows don't Don't go as long as your guys' is.
I know. I get
long for me. This is long
I get
for me, bro.
rolling. I get rolling. I went on.
yeah.
By the way, I went on No Jumper with Flacco, and we started we
I
started
just
just
seen
freestyling,
that.
and we went for like 2 hours and 30 minutes. He's like, we never go for more than an hour. Like we looked up at the clock, and suddenly it's
Wow.
like 2 hours in.
So something I wanted to jump back on, and this was like right from the start. Same thing, like I said, when I look at somebody like I said with the Brad Lee. So I was trying to watch your guys' show. Same thing to me. I'm like, I'm having a dislike. Like, what is this about? What is this? And then you guys had her come on the show, and so I want her to tell you because I forget. She came back and was furious. And then she's telling me I think it was Michael.
No, it was more so. Well, Mike invited me, but
she thought Mike set her up. And she's like, you need to say something to him.
The context of the editing. Remember, we had the talk at AVN, and I was like, I'm trying to understand what this is.
So this was a previous show. It's not the most recent one.
That was the first one that we did.
Okay. But what she had said was, she was like, he set me up, and she's like, you need to go say something to him. And this is what I said. Just being a little older, I said, let's try to figure out why they said it. Like, it might not be what you think.
But you want to know what? I even like to this day, like just the other day, I have yeah, exactly. I have so many guys who, they might be on my page for other reasons, and they'll be like, oh, you did that show with Michael, or now I got somebody who watched the show because of John Zerka. And it's really fascinating to me. And so now I look at him like, oh, okay, this is, even though for the women, it's
you didn't know what fell in your lap. That's why
I did not.
I told her, I was like, hey, just pause a minute. And
Pause.
And then when you guys had her back, I watched it again, and I was like, I like these guys, and I was like, I think there's just some.
I
sort
loved having Dome on.
Well, no, I said I go. Well, no, she ends up like very soon, because again, she's like telling me you need to hit up Michael and drop the bomb on him, but I'm just like, we have to really understand why. I don't even know what was said, but
well, also
she saw Michael a few days later.
That was during the AVN weekend, and it was. I'm the wild card. I'm the one that's the porn girl. So I'm very like my beliefs of how I do my career and have my life is very different from the other women.
Well, we were having the conversation in the parking lot after the Zerka show and everything. It's like I see you as like a wealth of knowledge. Like, I mean, seriously, because I don't have any. I mean, other than like Sterling Cooper, who's not in the business anymore. You're still in the business, so like I can ask you questions about like what's going on with like Adam 22, and you're gonna tell me here's what the backstory is on all that. So I've got my spies everywhere, and you're one of my spies. But no, like I remember because we've had you on 3 times. The last one was the 3rd time, and I remember being in I was at the AVN as well, and I went. That was my first time. I was an AVN virgin. And I went there with Miguel, and I'm like, I know nobody here, but everybody knows me because I'm walking through there, and I've got guys like because they're porn fans, and they're coming up to me, hey Rollo, I'm like, oh shit, I didn't want to have like my Instagram going on at that same time, but I'm like, okay, I guess I'm screwed.
And before I ran into you, and I was at my booth, I had so many guys, the fan guys, come up and they go, hey, I saw you on Rollo and Michael's show. And then they wanted to get my opinion of, how the experience was. So it was interesting.
And I'll tell you this, I knew nobody there except for you. And so the first thing me and Miguel are like, I'm like, let's go find Domo because I don't know anybody here. She's got to be here. We need a guy.
Domo was the point of contact.
She was our AVN Sherpa. Guide us.
Tour guide.
I was the shaman. I've done many AVNs, so that was just a little walk in the park.
Domo was our porn Sherpa. But like, I was there, and I'll tell you, like, getting to know the personalities. I think that there's like, especially in porn, like when you're talking about the gentrification of porn because of what happened there. I think you're right because there's always been this sort of like third wall between between the viewers and the performers, right? And so I think one of the things that the internet has done is really broken down that fourth wall, or the fourth wall, so that like you can actually have these conversations with people, and that's really what social media and influencer media and engagement media have done. So porn is just one example of many. So I use in my fourth book, Religion, I say this: it's not enough to be a pastor anymore. It's not enough to be like the guy who goes up and delivers the sermon. You also have to have your YouTube going. You have to have your Instagram. You have to have Twitter. You have to be available like never before. So there has to be this conversation between your congregation and the guy who's the one who's delivering the sermon. Right? It's not enough. You have to have YouTube to have the worship team going and whatever thing else you have. It's a franchise thing. The same thing applies to pornography. Oddly enough. In that there used to be a point where it's like all I'm doing is just watching this bitch, suck dick on YouTube or on whatever Pornhub, right? And now it's like now you've got OnlyFans, now you're on Instagram, now you have like they can approach you on so many different levels, and now suddenly that fourth wall is broken away. You're no longer a performer, and so therefore the gentrification of it happens because it's now you have a relationship with your audience, like a personal relationship where they're calling you up and say, "Hey, I saw you on Rollo."
It used to not be that. Like these people now with the Instagram and these other platforms, now they can kind of get a peek into our life and see what's going on. But also it humanizes you. And they do respect, and that's why when people go, "Well, why would I subscribe to an OnlyFans girl when I could just watch the porn?" Well, yeah, you could watch it, but you could be watching the porn and you could be FaceTiming with me and we could be on a virtual date and talking, shooting the shit that you don't normally can get from just watching.
Remember what I told you about engagement media, how people want to feel like they're part of the show and super chatting, and they want to feel like they can control the direction of it. It's the same thing. It's like they can be on there and say, "Now suck his dick, now do this," now like they feel like they're part of, like, I can influence the direction of the show.
When you guys were on there, it was funny. I was at the gym.
I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just saying that they can do that.
I never seen the super chat thing, but when I was at the gym, I would see it pop up. So I'm like, I tried to do a funny super chat. I think I said Domo's the hottest girl on there, but it was right at the end of the show. But I didn't know, so when you hit the thing, I did $25, and it comes off. You got to put in your little Apple ID or whatever. And I was like, oh, that's crazy, because I just never did it. But then I'm like, I did it at the wrong time because you guys were already closed out.
Well, you know what would have happened if you got it on there? There'd been probably 24 guys would be like, "You're a simp, hole. You think she's hot? She's fake. I've never seen a chick like that before. She's got fake boobs. Get some real girls on there."
Oh yeah. Oh no, half
with
the
the
time,
cape, with a cape.
Half the time at the gym, I'm watching the show, and the other half, I'm like looking at the comments. I'm just like,
comments are really entertaining, man.
I'll tell you that, and that's the funniest thing too. Is like you got all these guys where there's advantages and disadvantages to engagement media, because usually the guys who are there, they're there because they get off on the dopamine hit they get by saying, "That girl's, look at her tattoos. I would never get with a girl with tattoos. Look at her hair. What's not natural hair? Look at those boobs. Those boobs are not natural. Oh, man, I would never. I have more respect for myself."
But low-key, they be sliding my DMs.
Meanwhile, they're subscribing to your OnlyFans.
Asking to get pegged, right?
You have actually, you have no. I mean, you guys have a very unique audience.
Yeah.
So you do notice an influx on your thing coming from those?
Absolutely. Yeah. Actually, and what's actually really interesting that I do like it when your guys' subscribers come to my DMs, they actually want to have a conversation. They want to, it's not just, "Oh my God, you're so hot." Like it's, they watch the show. They want to get my opinion.
They're actually intelligent.
And then they also, a lot of these guys have said, my stance on women in your industry used to be this way, and they are really fascinated by my answers and how I answer, my opinions of how I live my life, that it becomes intriguing, and they want to
humanizes you.
Yes,
right?
absolutely.
Like you're a single mother, and like Amber Rose, not that one, but the ones, she's been on our show like 3 times now. She's a single mother as well. She's no secret there, and so like talking and getting sort of this sort of backstory as to like how their lives are being in whatever industry they happen to be in, and then also being a mother, and then also being like they're frustrated that they can't find a guy who, not you in general, but like girls in general will say that they're frustrated finding a high quality guy that they can actually settle down with for the long term, because they're making money hand over fist, and the only guys that they would want to get with have to make at least as much money as they are, maybe half again that, and it's a constant frustration. They're struggling with that, and so having those conversations, that the process of that ends up humanizing someone who you would otherwise say, oh, look at that bitch, she's just a skank, you know, she's for the streets, right? And so like that humanization process, I think that's one of the benefits. You want to say, well, you know, all you guys do is have these conversations with these girls and try to hold them accountable and make them look stupid. No, we humanize them. We try to, at least in my case, people say we go soft on the girls. I don't think we go soft.
No,
I think we just.
That's what I had said to her when she did that. I was like, you know, I said, I don't know. I said, something's missing. I said, but that's their show. I said, you need to go back and call them out on it. That's what that's about. You know, they're saying a thing. You're supposed to say why, and it's just a friendly conversation, and you get the answer.
We do this one experiment with the girls who have OnlyFans. We'll say, okay, show me a screenshot of your subscribers before this show, and then show me the screenshot of it after this show, and tell me how many more subscribers you got as a result of being on our show for like 3 hours.
I heard Michael say that to you. Did he just said on? Was he said Instagram or?
No, for OnlyFans.
For OnlyFans.
Yeah,
okay.
and I mean, yes, it's.
What is your base level on OnlyFans membership for OnlyFans?
Like how much it is?
Like to subscribe, how much
to
does it cost?
subscribe? I think it's like $10.99, and then
$10.99.
I put a discount on there.
So if you get 50 subscribers, how much is that?
I mean,
$5 grand, right?
Yeah.
See, so like you can come out like for you spend 2 hours on a show, and you get an extra,
and that's
recurring
just
revenue.
subscriptions. That's not even the PPVs, the actual videos that we sell.
That's pay-per-view.
And I took a little break, and I'm like getting back and setting my whole OnlyFans.
There was a I forget the girl's name, but she was on Fresh and Fit that Mike knew when we happened to be out there in December, and she was a very infamous OnlyFans model for whatever porn star on OnlyFans. And hers, I think, was like 25 is the base. And she ended up, as a result of going on Myron and Fresh, I think she got like another 100 or 200 subscribers as a result of going on there. That's like close to like 50 grand for having going on there.
That's insane.
And so that's especially if you have OnlyFans, that's the benefit of going on those shows is like you're going to generate new subscribers. So that's a lot of money just for sitting there and like just having that conversation for 2 or 3 hours.
Well, there was that Asian girl that went on Fresh and Fit, and I guess she was getting slammed about, I don't know, I think it was like some basketball player or something that she was in their DMs, and they said that they just like ridiculed her in the chat. But she had the influx of her OnlyFans. They were like, "Would you do it again?" She's like, "Absolutely, I'll do it every time."
I'll take the abuse and I'll take the money.
Yeah.
Where do you think Michael gets? So, like when I said it with you, and you just broke down, you know, the qualifications. What do you think Michael's qualifications is
for? What?
Just for like
speaking?
giving out, speaking,
okay,
giving knowledge.
So Mike and I have very similar stories when it comes to that. He's also a student of evolutionary psychology, same as I am. We have a very keen interest on a lot. We can talk about a great like the stuff we talk about on the show is just a small fraction of what we do.
He's very smart. But then, you know, I've just been seeing him for so many years with these flocks of girls, kind of like the Sancho Van Ryans and back to Armani's. And I knew he wasn't nothing like them, but then I'm like,
no,
again, smart, street smart.
I used to have a partner, Pat Campbell. He was a terrestrial radio show host out of Tulsa, Oklahoma. I worked with him from 2017 until he passed away in 2021. He had brain cancer. He taught me everything I know about what I'm doing right now, how to present myself, how to talk on, how to be sort of like, he has a radio guy, right? So I used the skills I learned from him to get into this. And we had this really good relationship, like this back and forth between us. We were good partners. The reason I started The Rational Male, my YouTube channel, was because whenever I would go on his terrestrial radio show, I was on Fridays, right? And I was only on for 1 hour. And so all of his followers said they really would want to hear more of the conversation, right? They wanted more than just like the 40 minutes I was in, because they had to put commercials in. And so we started the YouTube channel. The only time we could do it was on Sundays at 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern, because he was Catholic. So that was when Mass was over. And so that was the only time we could do it. That's why I still do it today at that time slot. And so when he passed away, I'm kind of like doing it on my own. And then the dynamic that I have with Pat is very similar to the dynamic that I have with Mike. So that's one of the reasons why I think we get along. We're on the same wavelength intellectually. And then also the fact that he's the Dark Lord of Vegas, man. I mean, the guy, he runs he runs Wet Republic. He does Swimsuit USA. He does Paradise Challenge. God knows how many.
How does he sleep?
I know how
When
girls.
does he
Yeah,
sleep?
I know how girls are out here. And like I said, obviously, I'm sure
they love him.
Had a lot of girls due to these contest judges, but I do stand back a little bit, and I'm like, I feel like he's been like abused by these girls because girls in Vegas abuse you, man. They will make you think they love you.
See, he's got a good attitude with that. He's got a girl. He's got a semi-permanent girlfriend right now, but they got an open on his end, closed on her end kind of thing. But she brings women into the relationship as opportunity presents itself. But he's he's been around. He's never been married. Doesn't have any kids. He's 45 years old.
Well,
he's
that's
been
what I
doing
want.
this for a long time.
Another thing I want to say.
Was in the military.
Wanted to say this real quick. Like I heard him. He said on here, and I just didn't catch it in time. But he does. Just like the Sancho and them, there's the dog or the cat rescue, and I'm like, okay, this is a trend. And then I'm a Christian guy, and I living at Panorama, and I'm like, I don't believe a Christian guy would be living at Panorama Towers that wants to have a wife and kids. And
what's wrong with Panorama Towers, bro?
Well, see, I think he's so.
That's-
Let me see if I can insert something.
Escorts and
if you look at
poker players,
like Myron Gaines from Fresh and Fit, he is a Muslim, right? I mean, he says that's my religion. But he calls himself a bad Muslim because he's a Muslim who likes to fuck. He doesn't drink. I've never seen him eat beef. I've never seen him eat haram food or whatever.
Sounds like the Mormons.
But he does fuck, yeah. But that's pretty much he wants.
Muslims don't fuck.
No, well, I mean, he's not. Premarital sex is not a thing. It's haram.
Sorry.
Everybody fucks, Domo.
Yeah, I'm like, what's going on here?
Like, so I think that one of the things like I see right now, and this is from my perspective as being married for as long as I have. I think that we're trying to figure out marriage right now. And I think we're trying to figure out, and that, by the way, and so that like locks into, would a Christian do this kind of thing? Would a Muslim do this? Would a Jew do this? So it's not even just a Christian thing. It's like, if those are your convictions and that's your honest, invested religion, how do you square the circle with how we do dating right now? How do we do open on my end, closed on your end? I mean, you look at Andrew Tate, right? Andrew Tate is a converted Muslim, apparently. But he runs cam girls, right? So how do you square that one, right? And then you've got other guys who, like for instance, there's a guy who is like Justin Waller, for example, and he just was recently. I'm not selling him out or anything like that, but he's got his main girl, his baby mama, and then it's closed on her end, and then he has side pieces, as he desires, right? And that's just the way that they work it out. And I think that we live in, and I'm going to steal Aaron Clary's line, sorry, but I think we live in a post-marriage society, and we're still trying to figure out how we're going to do marriage going forward into the 21st century. How do we do marriage when we've got OnlyFans? How do we do marriage when, and I mean, no, I don't mean like jerking off. I mean like how would someone? I even asked you this on the first show. I asked you this. I said, like, are you ever going to get married? Are you ever going to want to like have a husband and settle down and be domestic? And you're like, who's going to do that? And I don't mean that like they're not going to do because you're a skank or slut or anything. No, right. I mean it's because you make more money than any guy that would maybe be acceptable to do that, and they also have to be cool with what you do. Sure. Right? So that's okay. So how do we do marriage in that situation? How do we do marriage when it's an open relationship? How do we do it in a throuple? How do we do it in
really
polyamory?
It's really hard for girls in my industry because especially for dancers. I mean, most of our clientele are married men, and so it's hard for us. I mean, I guess for most women who have a 9-to-5 and don't live in that world, they can't understand that concept. But for us, and maybe it's like we see too much.
Well, like we were just talking, one of the reasons why Adam 22 and all that shit's going down is so scandalous and everybody wants to talk about it is because we're still trying to figure out marriage, because technically Adam is married to Lena. I would never allow my wife to do that. The reason why we haven't that outrage, I would never, that whole shit is because we still have this concept of marriage that's based on a 20th century, and we're trying to figure out marriage in the 21st century. Does the 21st century marriage look like what Adam and Lena the Plug have?
Let's hope not.
Yeah.
Does a 21st century marriage look like?
I believe marriage has evolved, and they haven't updated the book. Marriage for my parents is different than what it is today.
I am curious to see if their relationship could last, because obviously the Johnny sins and the Kissa sins.
Oh, man,
situation did not.
I get it from both sides. By the way,
here's the thing. So like, for Adam doing this stuff and Adam putting her on, I feel that she has an obligation to him. But what if this video actually puts her on to the point where she's bigger than him? Now you're going to figure out, I don't need you no more, Adam. And then that's when you're going to figure out where was that real love? or was it I was?
Is it a marriage? What is a marriage? What is a marriage based
business
on?
proposition?
It's
Is marriage based
Agendas.
on? Do women marry a man for love, or do they marry him for the lifestyle that he can provide?
Well, it's like that's what they say about like Beyonce and Jay-Z. Like they're, for them to reach their $1 billion status, for them to come together, that it's
like if a woman is in the industry and she out earns the guy, then what can the guy offer that's gonna make her want to stick around or want to be faithful or anything like that? The other thing is like you got another guy who maybe he's an Adam 22 and he's got a very successful life and is a multimillionaire as a result of the things that he's done. How does that woman come into that and expect that guy to be faithful and loyal, closed on his end, closed on her end after he's been fucking a million, women on top of him, whatever. Again, we're trying to figure out how we're going to do monogamy and promiscuity, really. But what is marriage today? Does it look like what Adam and Lena have, or does it look like what I have? Right, what closed on her and closed on my. I mean, it's this old school, and I think I was going to tell you, it's like I get it from both ends because, like the trad cons come at me because I'll have this conversation with Domo, right, or I'll be doing Access Vegas and like Rollo he's a evil horrible person, blah blah blah. He hates marriage. Like, no, I've been married longer than all of you guys, and I have my daughter has a master's degree and she's 25 and she's getting married next month, right? So that hurts.
Yes,
And the very fact that you're saying congratulations is what sort of sticks a thorn in their side, because I will come out against the way we do marriage right now. I'm not against marriage. I think marriage is a great idea, and I think that it's as a concept it's awesome, but I think that it's also an all downside risk for most guys right now because of the way we do it now. Not that it's a bad institution, it's just that it's bad. It's a bad deal because we've turned it into a bad deal in the 21st century. Well, really latter half of the 20th, but 21st century. And so when I go and I talk about that, like TradCons will say, Rollo Tomassi can't be married because he's red pill. And then I got red pill guys and incel guys, and they're saying, don't listen to anything that guy says. He's married. So I'm discredited from both sides for being married and having closed on, having this traditional good relationship. I still have really great sex with my wife. I love my wife more than anything.
What's crazy, I think me and you are pretty close in age, but yet my parents are married 54 years, and people think because of the life I live and the whatever. I'm not somebody who goes and gets hoes. I'm not somebody who goes to. I don't even enjoy. We went to the strip club last night. It was fun. But it was I even did a dance and it was very awkward to me. But
Night at the Roxbury.
Yeah, I mean I did a dance.
Shout out to my girlfriend.
Yeah, the girl was from Detroit and it was her friend. So I said, I'm at the strip club. You got to support even if you don't. But again, I still like to believe that I would. I'm like I want to be married one day. But I'm like, why am I not married? My parents are married this long. But I think it's things have evolved to where I don't know if I.
How are you going to do it?
I don't know if I believe in it.
And then what really brings me down to earth is I will go on Access Vegas and I'm surrounded by porn stars and FHM models and penthouse pets and everything like that, and it's great, and I love the interaction. I'm there for the conversation. I'm still kind of in my student of life studying mode of what's going on. That's why I really enjoy what I do. And then I'll go to Zook with everybody. It's not my music, not my. Although I did like Dead Mouse. Dead Mouse was really good. But I'm out there. I'd rather be at a Death Angel concert. Quite honestly, I'd rather go see thrash metal. Yeah. But I'm doing this, and I'm enjoying myself, and I'm having a good time. As people go, wow, man, how does your wife hang with this stuff? And I'm like, well, she knows what I do. I've been doing this, since I was a junior rock star back in the day. I was working in the clubs. I was working in wine and spirits. It's just the next evolution of what I'm doing. And so people don't know what my relationship is with my wife. And so it's not like I have some open relationship. I don't. It's like I don't want her to fuck anybody else, and she doesn't want me to fuck anybody else. And so that's the way we work it. And I have no problem with that. And because I get what I get at home and it's fun and I enjoy what I'm doing,
and that's
my personal thing. And if people have questions about that, I'm happy to answer those questions. But I never get those questions because it's not as fun to talk about that shit as it is to talk about, well, I wonder if Lena the Plug's getting it from 12-inch Jason whatever,
Well, so yeah, something I felt like I feel like in any long-term relationship I've been in, it's better. Like if you go veer off with some girl over here. And the same with a girl to a guy, to me, it's not good because you are so used to that I chase that feeling. I think
Yeah,
is what it is.
well, because it's the thrill and the dopamine hit of chasing a new strange, right?
Yeah.
It pales in comparison to like the domesticity kind of thing, and like sticking with one person. People always say, well, Rollo Tomassi has only ever seen the same vagina for the last 27 years or whatever. I'm like, yeah, but it's a pretty good vagina. I really enjoy it. I really kind of still dig it. It's then I'll get people who won't want to question like my relationship with my wife and all that stuff. You know nothing about it, so like I don't worry about that. But like I've always said this is like men and women are better together than we are apart, and that's why I really enjoy like having conversations with you or with like Maya or with some of these other girls that I've known, because I really kind of feel bad. Like in a way, I have sympathy. I can't say empathy. I have sympathy for these girls, simply because I feel like that. I want them to be able to get married. I want them to be able to have a long-term thing.
I tell this one that all the time. I'm like,
yeah.
Regardless of what you're doing and you're having fun and you're making money, I'm like, I want you to find somebody one day.
Because when you humanize them, then suddenly you're like, damn, I hope you find that guy. I honestly do. But I think you're really in a tough fucking position to do that. Because honestly, at the end of the day, at the end of all of this, it's like men and women are better together than we are apart. And I think that we're still trying to figure out monogamy and promiscuity as a result of like where we are in the world today and how we're going to formalize that. So
it's not as big a thing for people in the real world.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're right. You're absolutely right. And so the thing that grounds me is every time I go through the Las Vegas airport, I turn off my phone. I go from TSA to my gate. And you know what I do? I watch people. I look at everybody there. And so I go from models and jet screaming hootie queens on my show, and I'm walking from TSA to the gate, and I go, these are real people. These are normal people. They're overweight. They're old. They're not good looking. They're not what I'm
part of the Mile High Club.
Yeah, exactly. Well, because it puts you.
They don't have a membership
because it puts you in a different frame of reference, right? They don't have the same frame of reference, and I always have to remember that I'm not just talking to people who are like the beautiful people. I'm also talking to the guy who's running a tractor in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Right? I got to talk to the people who are in rural America as well, because if the red pill is not for everyone, then it's for no one. If your highest ambition is to look like Andrew Tate and be draped over a Lamborghini and have supermodels with you, like there's a very small fraction of guys are ever going to do that. And so if that's all the red pill is about, then it's not useful to them. I want to make it useful for everybody and not just like the elites, right? So that's why when I walk through the airport and I'm looking at these normal people, I go, I have to be able to like be relatable with them as well. So that's been my overall goal.
Well, where can people find you at, Rollo?
Well, you can find me at Access Vegas. That's number one. This month we're doing it every Thursday. So we do it at 8 p.m. Pacific, 11 p.m. Eastern time. That's the entertainment channel. The education channel is my show, The Rational Male. I do that on my channel. Just look up The Rational Male on YouTube. You'll find me. I'm all over the place. And I do it from 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern every Sunday. I usually go pretty long. It's long format, so you don't have to. If you don't watch the whole thing,
what's long?
It's all the way through my workout.
I want to say 4 hours, but I would be lying. I don't want to. Let me stop lying. You're more like 5.
I give you props, man. I come from radio, man. Even to be honest, this hour and 35 minutes is to me crazy. I do a month's worth of content, an hour and 30 minutes.
Well, I do that because I'm primarily a writer, and I also do other things. I'm going to be on. I'll be on whatever podcast on the 25th. I go and do special events like Babes in Toyland for the charity stuff, which, by the way, I love doing it for like the animal rescue because I have greyhounds and I've always been in sort of greyhound rescue for the last like 10 or 12 years. So kind of it's in my wheelhouse. I do that with them. I'm going to be doing the Wet Republic bikini contest on the end of this month.
Your life is so hard, man.
I know. What a terrible life.
And here I am trying to relate to the normal guys. Yeah, I know. So,
that's the pill right there.
But so I'm out there. I'm doing stuff. I'm writing. I'm working on 2 books right now. I'm also updating the first book because it'll be 10 year anniversary of The Rational Male. My first book will be October 1st. So I'm releasing a hardback on October 1st. Of the new edition of The Rational Male. It's the same stuff. It's just been tightened up. And by the way, yes, the type is going to be larger, and I'm going to be like.
And where do these people buy these books?
You can get all of them on Amazon. Just type in The Rational Male, and you'll find all 5 of them. So that's
which one did you find, Domo?
Rational Man.
First one.
That's-
Always
the
starting
first
that. Yeah,
one.
people ask me that. Always start with the first one, and then from
with the
there,
first
there's
one.
no like chronological. I mean, chronologically you could if you want, but there's like whatever your interests are. It's depending on what they are and the topics.
It's not like Star Wars where they're all like,
Yeah, no, it's like I mean, the first one's the core concepts. Anything after that is sort of like what your personal interests happen to be.
What about you, Domo Monster?
You can find me on IG, Domo Monster 7, and if you're lurking, you could go on my other page, Onyx Muse XO.
They say if you lurk, you care.
Yeah.
You can find me. I'm just on Green Room Radio. I did just start a page, TRU.11EVEN. My other page got hacked, but I'm a little bit older now, and it's very hard for me to.
You gotta stop posting those D pics, man. I got
Yeah.
you. I got you hacked.
I have a hard time. So I'm just on Green Room Radio on everything.
Follow me on After Party Radio Show, all social media, and Fatal Official, man. Check us out, Frenzy Broadcasting. Yeah.
All right, thank you, Rollo, for coming by.
Thank
We
you
appreciate
so
it
much for
thanks,
coming.
for sure.
Appreciate
It's good to meet you guys.
Yeah.
I've already met you a million times.
Always.